Well, I can hardly believe that I'm here. I'm so sorry I'm late. Not too bad, well, nearly a quarter of an hour, and I couldn't do one at lunchtime. I discovered when I got into the car this morning in Hamburg, the journey was 775 kilometers from Hamburg to Munich. And so, and the traffic was awful, of course. So I actually left the hotel this morning at 6:30, and the time is now nearly 7:15. So you can see how long I've been driving. And then when I got here, there was a terrible fracas because the hotel where I've booked into couldn't be found. It's the first time it's happened. It couldn't be found on my GPS, on my satellite, and you know why? Because they had surrounded the building with roadworks, and my GPS couldn't find it. And it kept going round and round in circles. However, eventually I got a taxi driver to show me the way with the help of my dear friend Frank and his friend Dan. It was their idea, and I eventually got here, but I am absolutely, can you imagine what I'm like? But I'm okay. I'm okay. I haven't had any food. I don't think I want any food. I think I'm going to go to bed very soon. But I'm here. Seems to be a Russian lady or something who owns the place. And it's quite a nice hotel, quite a nice room. And but it's right out of the way. It's near the city centre, very close. But because of the roadworks, you have to do huge detours to get to it. Anyway, so I'm resting today. Tomorrow morning I shall have a little stroll into Munich. I won't have time to do much. And then tomorrow afternoon I'm going to go out with my friend Frank and to see his family, his wife and his mother and father, who I've known for so many, many years, and I'm very fond of them. They're a lovely family. And so that will be tomorrow. I'm afraid I threw them into turmoil this evening, but trying to find my way here. Anyway, that's over with now. So what have I to tell you? I had a very, very nice evening with Anthony, and we discussed Germany and Hamburg. It was a very interesting conversation about Germany, because he lives in Hamburg, and he brought me the most delicious meal, a Hamburg dish called, it was with mixed fish, white fish and salmon, fresh salmon, with potatoes, but mixed in Dijon sauce, Dijon mustard sauce. And it really was most delicious. And it was so nice to catch up with him, because the last time I met him, well, I met him in Hamburg when I first came out. But before that, we'd met in Italian Twist in Benidorm. And so it was a nice get together, and I enjoyed that. You know, and I don't want to hurt Anthony's feelings, but Hamburg itself, the center, is not my favorite place. There's a lot of seediness around where the hotel was, although the hotel was very, very nice. And it's funny the different ways people have of doing things. For instance, breakfast. I must tell you about scrambled egg. Scrambled egg, it's extraordinary. Nobody seems to know how to do it. Only one hotel, and I think it was the Radisson Hotel in Stockholm or in Bordeaux, and they did it beautifully. It was nice and wet. It wasn't dry, but nobody seems to be able to do fried eggs. I did have one hotel which I liked very much, and they did poached eggs, but otherwise the scrambled eggs they do are just lumps, you know, a great lump. But it's funny, different hotels' idea of breakfast. But my most acceptable thing is orange juice. I don't know why I'm going on about the food and everything, but I haven't had a chance to be honest and truthful with you. I haven't had a chance to think too much about what I was going to talk to you about this evening, because it's been a day of panic, really. And the traffic everywhere was simply appalling. So seeing my dear friends tomorrow, the Uddenreuters, they're called, the Uddenreuter family. And I was very friendly with them years ago with my friend, my partner, David. And we were very attached to them. And on one occasion, we stayed with them. And they live in Gauting, which is just outside Munich. Munich seems to me to be a mess at the moment. It's just building everywhere. And it's very interesting because every hotel that I've been to so far, with the exception of two, that's the Radisson in Bordeaux in the Arctic Circle and the Radisson in Stockholm. Every hotel, they've done building works outside, making it impossible to find one's way there. And every city I've been to, they're doing building works, either in the roads or with buildings and so on. It is quite difficult to find your way around. As you can tell, I've only just come in, literally in the last 10 minutes. And so I'm a little bit shaky, but you'll have to excuse that. And oh yes, I know what I was going to do. My dear friend Flavio and Nino in Benidorm. Now, Flavio asked me an interesting question yesterday, which I didn't answer, but I'll answer this evening, about what I do when I'm driving and what I think about and what I play. Do I play CDs? Yes, I do. When I was going through Sweden, you can imagine what I played there, can't you? Of course, it was ABBA, Dancing Queen, and so on. And there's some film of me which you will like, Flavio, of me dancing queen, and it's lovely. And I turned the camera around on me a couple of times to show how ridiculous I looked. So that was nice. But I also sit there for long stretches without music, and you can't listen to a radio because all radios are in every country you go. But I have a lot of time to think about things, to contemplate, and I look back over the fun times. Especially, I've looked back at Benidorm and how much I have enjoyed myself over this last year there, and what lovely people I've met, and how kind they've been to me. And most important of all is how supportive they've been in helping me with the Help for Heroes. And that's very important to me. They just did it, all of them. They're very special, and whatever stories you may hear about Benidorm and Benidorm's folk, you make up your own mind, because they are very special people. And I admire them tremendously. And dare I say it, I love them. And I miss them very much. I hope that the information is getting through to our friends at Help the Heroes in Salisbury. When I get back, we shall start the business of counting out the money and seeing how much we got and how we intend to go from there onwards. There's a lot of money that related at home, which people had sent to me personally, which I want to add to the pot. and then we'll see where we are. And I do hope that's going to help. And I got a little notification through, I think, from Help for Heroes to say that 8 of the guys, the paraplegics, will be going to the paraplegics, Olympic paraplegics. And I presume that's taking place at the moment. And there's 8 of them. And the money that I managed to raise for them, all of you are managing to raise for them, I hope that that will go towards that as well. And I hope one day that I'll get the chance to meet them. And I would like to come over to England at some stage to meet some of the guys. I got 1 or 2 of them in Spain, who I'm very fond of. And we must remember too that they're not only veterans from the wars in the Middle East, which are ghastly enough, as we all know, but there's our dear friends, our forgotten friends in the Falkland Islands. I mean, they went through hell, and a lot of them were very badly maimed and injured. And it's not just a question of the body, it's there too. What they've seen and heard over the years. I don't know if I told you, it's quite appropriate. I'm in Munich now, and I'm with, oh, there's a phone ringing. Will you excuse me a moment? Hello? Hello, Frank. I'm so sorry. Frank, can I call you back in just 2 minutes? Everything is fine, absolutely fine. Thank you for... Yes, I know. You may not know it, but you're live on my broadcast at the moment. It's all right, no. So I'm talking, no. So I'm talking to you and to the viewers at the same time. But I'll very good. Yes. Well, will you thank your friend Dan for helping me as well? Thank you, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. All right, fans. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Well, that was live on camera, wasn't it, eh? He is the son. Frank is a very remarkable chap. I knew him and his brothers, the youngsters, tiny little fellows, but I gather he's principal trumpet solo player for the Munich Philharmonic Orchestra, and he plays solo and has recorded some very good discs, CDs. So I'm very pleased to be able to talk to him and listen to some of those while I'm here. So he phoned up to make sure that I'm safe here. But what I was about to say is that it's ironic that I should be seeing the family tomorrow, because I'll tell you an interesting story, and that is Frank's father, Otto, very distinguished man of law, who's now getting on in years, of course, but he was in the German army during the war. And of course, my father was a machine gunner during the war. Pop, as you probably know him by now. And when it was known that Otto and Marlies and the family were coming to stay with David and me, my friend David and myself, we wondered how the two men would meet, having both fought in the war, my father having lost his leg was amputated. And I wondered how it would be. And it was remarkable, and I can still remember it. The two men met. They not only shook hands with each other, but they hugged each other. They were on opposite sides in the war. And yet forgiveness came on both sides. It was a remarkable emotional moment. And I'll be very interested when I talk to Otto tomorrow and his beautiful wife, Marilis. So it's very opportune that I'm here in Munich. Munich has obviously a lot of connotations with the war, but we sweep down. I want you to know that the weather here is absolutely beautiful. It was 34 and 35 degrees today as I was driving here. There's a high pressure sitting over this part of the country, and apparently it's going to be like that tomorrow, and I believe they're going to get some good weather down in Benidorm too. So I'm on my last few days now of the Arctic adventure. Fancy that. It'll be a month on, what's tomorrow? So a month tomorrow that I left home. And it's been quite an adventure. But we'll talk about that later. Anyway, my dears, I'd like to be a little tonight, but I think you'll understand why I'm a bit lacking in energy tonight. I'm all right. I'm happy. I'm happy because I'm now settled here. So no problem. So don't worry about me. If you don't worry about me, I won't worry about you. But what I am pleased about is that in a few, oh yes, we've had dramas at home too. All the electricity went in the house where my friends John and Bernardo are staying. So they've had dramas there. So it's been a day of mixed dramas. And the one thing I am looking forward to, of course, is seeing my two little dogs again. It's over a month since I've seen them, and I miss them terribly. And I miss you terribly, all of you, whoever you are, wherever you are. And I'll try and be on time tomorrow. I'm sorry I couldn't speak to you. It was totally impossible. I was on the road. I still had about 400 kilometers to do at 2 o'clock. So there's no way I could do a broadcast. But at least I've managed to get this in. And I hope you're all well, all happy, and putting up with my silly little diatribes that go on every day. A lot of nonsense, but we'll meet up at the same time tomorrow, shall we? No, we'll meet up at 2 o'clock at lunchtime, and maybe I'll have something more interesting to say then, and tomorrow evening as well. So until then, wherever you are in the world, whatever you are, what you're doing, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, I wish you well, and I wish you happiness, and I wish you love. Good night.